Good morning and welcome to my YouTube channel Barnalis Biology. Today we are going to discuss about Chapter 1 Reproduction in Organisms. Our topic today starts with fertilization. The most vital event of sexual reproduction is the fusion of gametes called syngamy, and syngamy gives rise to diploid zygote. The term fertilization is also used for this process. So we can say that the terms syngamy and fertilization are used interchangeably. A question: what would happen if syngamy does not occur? In some organisms like rotifers, honeybees, and even some lizards and birds like turkey, the female gamete undergoes development to form new organisms without fertilization, and this process is called parthenogenesis. Where does syngamy occur? In aquatic organisms, for example, algae, fishes and amphibians, syngamy occurs in the external medium, that is in water, that is outside the body of the organism. This type of gametic fusion is called external fertilization. Organisms which show external fertilization show a great synchrony between the sexes, that is the release of male and female gametes. They are simultaneous to increase the chances of fertilization. They release a large number of gametes into the surrounding medium, that is into the water, in order to enhance the chances of syngamy. It is seen, for example, in the case of bony fishes and frogs, where a large number of offsprings are produced. A major disadvantage is that the offsprings are extremely vulnerable to predators, threatening their survival up to adulthood. In many terrestrial organisms belonging to fungi, higher animals such as reptiles, birds, mammals, and in a majority of plants like bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms, syngamy occurs inside the body of the organism. Hence, the process is called internal fertilization. In all these organisms, egg is formed inside the female body where they fuse with the male gamete. In organisms exhibiting internal fertilization, the male gamete is motile and has to reach the egg in order to fuse with it. In these species, a large number of sperms are produced and a significant reduction in the number of eggs are observed. In seed plants, the non-motile male gametes are carried to female gamete by pollen tubes. Post-fertilization events. Events in sexual reproduction after the formation of zygote are called post-fertilization events. Here we will study two parts. Part 1 deals with the zygote and part 2 deals with embryogenesis. First, the zygote. Formation of the diploid zygote is universal in all sexually reproducing organisms. In organisms with external fertilization, zygote is formed in the external medium, which is usually water. In organisms with internal fertilization, zygote is formed inside the body of the organism. Further development of the zygote depends on the type of life cycle the organism has and the environment it is exposed to in both cases. This is studied under the topic of class 11, haplontic life cycle, diplontic life cycle and haplodiplontic life cycle. In organisms belonging to fungi and algae, the zygote develops a thick wall resistant to desiccation and damage. It undergoes a period of rest before germination and the spores produced are called zygospores. In organisms with haplontic life cycle, zygote divides by meiosis to form haploid spores that grow into haploid individuals. Zygote is a vital link that ensures continuity of species between organisms of one generation and the next, or we can say that zygote is the connecting link between two generations. Every sexually reproducing organism, including human being, begins life as a single cell, the zygote. Embryogenesis. Embryogenesis refers to the process of development of embryo from the zygote by cell division, that is mitosis and cell differentiation. Cell divisions They increase the number of cells in the developing embryo. Cell differentiation. It helps groups of cells to undergo certain modifications to form specialized tissues and organs to form an organism. Based on whether the development of the zygote takes place outside the body of the female parent or inside, animals are categorized into oviparous and viviparous. Some oviparous organisms lay fertilized eggs. Example, reptiles and birds. Some oviparous organisms lay unfertilized eggs. Example, bony fishes and amphibians. The organisms which give rise to birth or to young ones are viviparous. Example, mammals. Oviparous and viviparous animals. In oviparous animals like reptiles and birds, the fertilized eggs are covered by a hard calcareous shell and they are laid in a safe place in the environment. After a period of incubation, young ones hatch out. In viviparous animals, majority of mammals including human beings, the zygote develops into a young one inside the body of the female organism. After attaining a certain stage of growth, the young ones are delivered out of the body of the female organisms. Because of proper embryonic care and protection, the chances of survival of young ones is greater in viviparous organisms. The fate of the flower. In flowering plants, the zygote is formed inside the ovule. After fertilization, the sepals, the petals and the stamens of the flower, they wither and fall off. A question which comes to our mind. Can you name a plant in which the sepals remain attached? The answer will be in chili, brinjal, tomato, etc. The pistil remains attached to the plant. The zygote develops into the embryo. The ovules develop into the seed. The ovary develops into the fruit and the integuments develops a thick wall called pericarp that is protective in function, and after dispersal, seeds germinate under favorable conditions to produce new plants. In this diagram you can see a few kinds of fruits are shown. S, it represents the seeds, and P, it represents the protective pericarp. With this, we come to the end of chapter 1. I am Santosh Mahapatra and Dr. Barnali Baisakhi is the director of Barnali's Biology. Thank you very much, and if you like the contents of this video, then please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you once again.